Hey guys, it's me, Kayla with the curls, and this is the wind down. I know that it's Thursday, but we're doing the wind down on Thursday because it's my show or my segment, and I decide when it starts. I'm gonna wait for a few minutes to see if a bunch of you hop on here, just a few. Doesn't really matter. I've been missing you guys, and I promised you last week I would bring the wind down back. So I'm a promise keeper, and so it is. In the poll of my stories, you guys stated that you wanted to do a segment on love post heartbreak. And so we're going to break this down into a couple of parts. I know at least two. We'll do the first one tonight, and then next week we'll follow up with the next one. Tonight, it's a simple cab, nothing serious. I really actually like it. I might have thrown the bottle away. This is the bottom of the barrel. It's delicious if you are into like dark fruit notes, but not like super dry wine. As most of you know, you can catch this on the playback or whatever. I had been previously married. I got married 10 years ago in 2011, and I was married for 3 years prior to getting a divorce. Yay, hey, y'all are hopping on. What's up, y'all? Prior to getting a divorce, and then I was single for a couple of months, about 6 to 7 months before I started dating my former fiance, and we were together for 6.5, almost 7 years before we really mutually decided that it was just not the best move for a lifetime. And so, if anybody knows love and heartbreak really, really well, it's definitely me. And so I feel like it's one of those things that when you're experiencing it, it feels really, really isolating, and you feel like you're by yourself and like nobody understands. But the reality of stuff is that if you have ever loved someone, the likelihood that you've had your heart broken is really high. And so it's kind of like, what do you do next? Or what do you do now? Or people ask me all the time, like, Kayla, how do you just continuously date and like selflessly give yourself and your time and your energy to that? Like, how do you not give up? And so we'll talk a little bit about like steps that you can take just to feel better and to move forward with your life. Because like life is like never over. There's a silver lining to every cloud. And I never want to, I hate using that term because I hate to silver line in people's depression. It's perfectly okay to be sad. And so I know that when we first separated, my fiance and I, you guys found out, say, October, November, when I moved back to Murfreesboro. But we had decided that in like July. So we went the entire summer with no one knowing. And so I had time to grieve and mourn and take necessary steps. But people would say, oh, you'll be okay. And it's like, yes, I absolutely will be okay. But allow me to sit in my sadness. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you know someone who's recently separated or someone who is recently divorced or someone who's just really going through a bad breakup, not to try to silver line in it and be like, oh, there's other fish in the sea, there's other people out there. Yes, that's probably true. In fact, it's factual, it's true. However, allow them to sit in that sadness. Like, what can I do for you? Let's go grab lunch. Let's go do this. Let's go do that, so that they're not so alone. So tonight we're just going to talk about the first steps. Like right after you first break up, when it's like fresh, your heart's like ripped to shreds, you're like boo-hoo crying, you don't know what to do. My first step, I say, for like approaching love post heartbreak, I would say is heal. Heal. Allow yourself to mourn the loss of that relationship. Lots of times you start speaking futuristically relatively quickly with people, and that's the way people get hurt. We'll start there. We can talk a little bit about that next week, but heal. Allow yourself to be sad. Go to therapy. And I'm not talking your friend who's a social worker or your cousin who was a psych major. Go to therapy. Work with someone. Do the work. Figure out how you contributed in any way to the loss of the relationship, what you could have done differently, and not to salvage or to reconcile it, just so that you don't take that into your next relationship. And so I know that for me personally, that's one of the things that I did is I don't think that I did the necessary work post-marriage to set myself up for success. Now, did I grow and did I learn? Absolutely. I think that there were two very different versions of me. There was married Kayla, who was 23 years old, and then there was engaged Kayla, who was 33 years old. So 10 years apart, I was two completely different people. What I learned this time was to do the work. So go to therapy. It's very uncomfortable to recognize that sometimes in some situations, in some arguments, you're the problem. It's important to recognize when you're the toxic one. The beauty of recognizing what toxic traits you have are that you can heal them. You can change them. But if you don't know that it exists, you'll just coast from relationship to relationship, dragging that same toxic energy or whatever that behavior is to the next person. And that's not fair to you or to them, because I do believe that God will grant you the desires of your heart, but you have to do the work. So first I say heal. Secondly, I say preserve your confidentiality. It is no one's business what happened. Now, if you have been a survivor of emotional, mental, physical, sexual abuse, narcissistic abuse, it is so important that you tell close people to you that you might be in danger, okay? Especially if it's a physical abuse situation, because post-physical abuse, when women leave those relationships, they are even more likely to be harmed or killed. So yes, you tell that. But you don't have to get on Facebook and air out your dirty laundry or give you the nitty-gritty details of everything that went wrong, good or bad, right? Preserve your confidentiality. And it's important, I know, because you want to vent and you want to talk, but that's why I say go to therapy. There are people that get paid to talk you through that, and they're not biased. So they're not going to be like, ooh, girl, nah, he shouldn't have done that. Or, ooh, man, nah, she wasn't right. You need somebody to just work with you through your feelings, but it doesn't have to be the whole World Wide Web. For me, when someone would bring that up, oh, what happened to you guys? You were a power couple. I thought you were the best. I honestly would say to them, I'm not in a place to talk with you about that. I don't want to discuss that with you. Or I'd say, maybe when I'm in a better space and I've healed and it's easier for me to discuss that, I can talk about that, but not right now. So it's so important for you to preserve your confidentiality. It's nobody's business. I know I've already said that, but I don't want you to feel like, I think, now I've seen the meme, and previously it was like, haha, funny, right? Because it's like, if y'all break up and y'all been doing all of this on live on Facebook, you've been sharing your vacations and your gifts and all of this stuff, we want to know the details on why you broke up. Now, you don't have to rehash that. So, also, when you're in a relationship, solve issues with the person you're in a relationship with. I say that because Joe Blow goes out 3 nights a week. He does yada, yada, yada. You're going to forgive him. But guess who's not going to forgive him? Me, my sister, my cousin, my auntie. We're not going for that. So be mindful of those things, right? Confidentiality is important all around. So we'll drag that into next week. Finally, one of the things that I want to tell people about love post-heartbreak is don't immediately start looking for your next romantic partner. Take some time out for you. Another age-old quote is, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. It's a terrible idea because, again, it's toxic behavior and you have not solved anything if you haven't done the work. And so I say fall in love with you. Remember the things that you love about you. When you date someone or when you love someone, part of being in a relationship is sacrifice. And so you yield and you give and you forget some of the things that, I don't even know that you necessarily forget, but you give up some of the things that you love about yourself in some ways so that the other person can be happy and vice versa. So if you loved to dance and you're not been dancing anymore, girl, go dance. Guy, go dance. If you love to sing and you weren't doing it, if you like to blast the radio and they didn't like country music or whatever that it was, do those things. I became incredibly intentional about dating me. I'm kind of bomb, like, no, seriously. I came really intentional. I would get dressed up. I'd do my hair. I'd get my nails done, get my lipstick on, pop on my favorite heels, and I would go out to eat. I would go to dinner by myself. Why? Because I deserve nice meals. I deserve nice food. I like the ambiance of a nice restaurant. I like those things. And I don't need someone to take me to do them. Now, do I love for someone to take me to do them? Abso-freaking-lutely. But being in the absence of a romantic partner doesn't mean that I don't deserve to do those things. Spend time with your friends and family. So I always encourage women, especially when you get involved with someone, don't stop hanging out with your friends. Don't stop hanging out with your family. Don't stop being you at all whatsoever. But if you have found that you've distanced yourself from those people, it's incredibly important that you reunite with them, that you get back in those relationships and those friendships. Start eating with them. Start doing things. Plan your day out so that you're not sobbing in bed and by yourself or making ridiculous choices. Come up with a coping skill. You're going to need something to do. So it doesn't need to be boozing or using or you cannot drink away the pain. You can't smoke away the pain. You can't sex away the pain. You just got to feel it, right? You feel it, you go to therapy, you do the work, and you create better relationships and better coping skills. I always encourage people to remember things they like about themselves, or my activities were throwing stuff out. So as of now, and I guess it's been like an 8 or 9 month journey now. As of now, I don't have anything in my closet that I don't absolutely adore or love. Why would I need to have anything I don't absolutely adore or love? I don't buy stuff for the sake of having it or because I need a black shirt. I will just wait until I find one that I absolutely like. Upkeep. I keep my nails done. I keep my hair done. And I do my hair myself, so that's probably easier. But I would, if I could not do my hair myself, I would find someone to do it. You can go to a hair or beauty school. You do not have to go to a cosmetologist. Don't have to pay an arm and a leg. Even if it's just a wash and deep condition, getting your hair straight and get your ends trimmed. Take care of you, girl, because you deserve it. If you watch, what is her name? Self-Care Isn't Selfish, Benevolent by B. She's great, and on her YouTube channel, she has tons of at-home, mani, stuff that you can do relatively cheap. I'm talking $15, $20 or less for a whole kit, so you can upkeep it for a long time. Do those things for you. Why? Because you deserve them. One of the things that I did regularly was I got massages once a month. And then I would go to the salt cave because it helped me to just kind of decompress. I'm anxious all the time anyway. But on top of that is that push to be perfect. And if you grew up around me or you know my family, it's not that you have to be perfect, but the expectation is excellence. And while that's a great thing because it's taken me very, very far, I'm so incredibly proud of who I am and where I come from. Excellence also sold me short in many ways because I forgot sometimes I was human, and that was on me. It's like everybody's watching. It's like, please don't watch me, watch Jesus. But in reality, excellence made me very anxious. So going to the salt cave helped me sleep. It helped me to just go to sleep, relax for just a moment. It was something just for me, by myself. The other thing that I do is buy myself little gifts. That's one of the reasons why I have subscription boxes, because I pay a flat fee and then I get like 6 little gifts in a box. And they come so infrequently, like quarterly, that I almost forget what I'm getting. So I'm like, ooh, what's in this? Oh, it's something for me. I buy myself flowers every single Sunday. And I've been dating recently and I haven't had to buy my own flowers. And that's been weird for me because I'm like, ooh, should I buy myself? But you know what? I deserve it. If he wants to buy flowers, great. But pink peonies are my favorite flowers. I haven't had pink peonies in years. And I was like, why have I never asked for pink peonies? Or why had the men that I was interacting with never noticed that I like pink peonies? I should have been more peculiar or particular in who I was choosing. And that's not even a self-beat up or a self-hate. It's just one of those things where you could start to recognize errors that you made. And I learned those things through going to therapy. So we'll stop there tonight because I feel like there's a whole lot of information. And again, this can be a complete episode part series where we talk a little bit about little by little about how do I get back out there. Again, I always say God will grant you the desires of your heart. And so if it is your desire to be in love and to be married and to have a husband, you can have those things if you pray and you submit. I don't want to say, oh, you're going to wait for God, because you got to put in some action, girl. He's not going to kick in your door. So if he does kick in your door, he's not the one. So you have to position yourself. And so that's one of the things that I prayed. God, position me so that my husband will see me. And I started praying that prayer while I was still in a relationship, and stuff started falling apart. And I was like, okay, God. And it wasn't the answer that I wanted, but it was the answer that I needed. So that has been my prayer. Position me in a place that my husband will see me. And if there's anything in your will for me, or if there's anything, oh God, that I desire that's not in your will for me, let it slip from my grasp and let me be at peace with its departure. If there's anything that I desire that's not in your will for me, oh God, let it slip from my grasp and let me be at peace with its departure. When you pray and you are diligent in your prayer and you trust, you have to trust that when things start falling apart, it's falling apart for a reason. That's all I've got for you today. I love you guys so incredibly much. I appreciate you for allowing me to just be human, for reminding me that I am human, and for allowing me to share my human experiences with you. If you recently have been divorced, if you recently had your heart broken, if you just have had your heart broken years and years ago and you have not been able to let go, I just ask that you open your heart to Christ, and I ask you open your heart to therapy, and I ask you open your heart to new ideas, because there's someone out there just for you, and you are perfect just the way you are. We all need a little bit of tweaking, but the cracks are there so that God can shine in. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.